Trap More Gang. I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the crazy stuff that has been going on with a former legendary NFL star turned internet crash out. I'm just going to say it, okay? Antonio Brown, aka AB, okay? He was a legendary player with the Pittsburgh Steelers, all right? People think he's one of the greatest wide receivers of his era, but now he is widely receiving criticism for potentially, allegedly, attempting to murder a man. All right, he's facing attempted murder charges. He's getting extradited. He's in a whole world of problems. Okay, so let's take a little look at everything that's going on with AB, and we're gonna try and get to the bottom of this case. So this is the news report on him basically waiving extradition. I believe he was he's been extradited from I think it was Dubai, and then they're extraditing him from state to state. But let's take a look.
And now at 10:36, after months on the run, former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown is in police custody and will be brought back to Miami. Brown's warrant for attempted murder was issued earlier this year, but the Miami native couldn't be found. That is until his own social media postings helped police track him down in Dubai. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray joins us from outside of Brown's Fort Lauderdale home with the details.
That's former wide receiver Antonio Brown pedaling through the streets of Dubai, posting on social media, getting haircuts in front of a fancy car. Miami police say Brown's post prompted them to send U.S. Marshals to Dubai and bring him back to the States on attempted second-degree murder charges.
So I want to just make something clear, right? Because I've heard about a lot of drill rappers going on the run. I've covered a lot of drill rappers on the run. Obviously, if you've watched my channel, you might have heard me cover the story of Suspect from Active Gang, a UK rapper who allegedly caught a couple of bodies, all right? Allegedly, that's what he said. He said he got 2 packs like Suge, all right? That's him that said that, okay? He went on the run. He ended up in Kenya, and they managed to grab him in Kenya and bring him back. Now, a lot of people seem to get the wrong end of the stick, thinking, yeah, I'm going to kill somebody and go on the run. I'm going to go to Dubai. Bro, Dubai been having extradition treaties, okay, with the UK and with the US. They will bring you back. Yeah, it depends how serious these charges are, but it's attempted murder. That's a pretty serious charge, all right? And we've been seeing this situation with the UK rapper Fredo, okay? His name was brought up in an indictment. He wasn't around. All of his guys from his block ended up going down for basically conspiring to buy a gun to kill the rapper Digga D, all right? And Fredo is still out there on the run. He's denied it. He told me personally, I'm not on the run. Bro, was looking like you was on the run, all right? Other people saying you're on the run. But what I want to say is that, like, just because you're in Dubai, just because you're in Thailand, like, these countries do have extradition treaties, okay? As far as I'm aware, at least for the UK, there's only, like, 6 countries that don't have extradition treaties. And they are, like, they're not the countries you want to be going to. Like, I'm talking Somalia. I'm pretty sure that, like, Algeria, like, Dubai, just because it's far away, like Kenya, bro, they extradite you. Thailand got extradition. Now, whether or not you say that the police and the authorities are corrupt enough that you're going to skate under the radar for long enough, yeah, sure, but that's another story, right? But, like, as far as I'm concerned, you can't really outrun the US government, especially on charges as serious as attempted murder. But before we get into more of the kind of backstory, I'd like to kind of just go back to the start and just take a little recap of Antonio Brown's legacy, okay? Because I feel like he's an interesting cat. I want to kind of learn a little bit more about his backstory as we kind of navigate this story. And basically, look, Antonio Brown is up there as one of the all-time wide receivers. All right, they're ranking him number 19 of the top 25 wide receivers in NFL history. Drafted 195th overall by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2010 out of Central Michigan, Antonio Brown overcame his late-round status to become one of the most prolific receivers of the 2010s, excelling as a returner early on. Over 9 seasons with the Steelers, he earned 7 Pro Bowls and 4 first-team All-Pro honors, leading the NFL in receptions twice. All these receptions, right? 125 in 2014, 129 in 2015, and yards twice, 1,698 yards in 2014, and 1,533 yards in 2015. They're saying Brown set records for the most catches in a 2-year span. He had 265 catches in 2014-15 season, and a 3-year span in having 375 from 2013 to 2015, with 6 seasons of 100-plus receptions and 1,000-plus yards. He was the first to top 1,000 receiving and return yards in one season in 2011, and he won the AFC Offensive Player of the Year in 2017. Traded to the Oakland Raiders in 2019 amid disputes, Brown was released before playing due to off-field issues. He briefly suited up for the New England Patriots. He played one game, had 4 catches, 56 yards and 1 touchdown before his release. He joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2020, where he won the Super Bowl. What's that, 60? That's 60? I don't be knowing the Roman numerals too well. Is that 55? I nearly had it. 55. Super Bowl LV is Super Bowl 55. Catching 5 passes for 22 yards and a touchdown in the victory. Okay. It says Brown's career total stand at 928 receptions, 12,291 yards, and 83 touchdowns across 146 games, plus 2,934 return yards and 5 return scores, ranking him among the top 20 all-time in receptions and yards. Now, look, I like American football. You guys call it football. I would call it American football. I would call it English football. You would call it soccer. I'd call it football. I've always liked the NFL more than the Premier League soccer in the UK, basically, is what I'm trying to say, okay? I'm not following the sports that closely, but like I enjoy it. I go to the football sometimes if I'm in the United States, and you know, clearly he was really getting busy on the field. They're saying Brown's standout attributes were his elite quickness, precise footwork, and exceptional hands, allowing him to create separation in tight coverage. His playing style was that of a route running virtuoso, shifty, versatile in the shot, or outside and explosive with the ball, often turning short passes into big gains, but heavily criticized for off-field controversies, including legal issues and team disruptions that shortened his career. Brown's on-field brilliance remains undeniable, but he was catching a few problems off the pitch. People are saying 19. Are you kidding me? I don't even have to look at the list of wide receivers ahead of him. Antonio Brown is really a top 10 wide receiver, probably around 5th or 6th. I'm not sure who decides these ridiculous rankings, but this high ranking is obviously attributed to Brown's personality and on and off field antics. AB is a bit of a nut, but his football prowess cannot be denied. He was great on the football field. People are saying 19 is a joke. The guy is top 5. I might have it number 3. People are saying horrible ranking. He's top 6. Now, okay, some of you guys that don't care about football might find that a bit boring, but I feel like it's important to say his antics off the field and his crazy extracurricular activities in, I don't want to say the streets, but definitely off the field at the very least. This has kind of tarnished his reputation on the field. People are saying that the ranking's not fair. People are putting him down on the rankings because he's into so much nonsense off the field that it's actually souring his professional career. And no doubt this situation where he's allegedly on the run, getting extradited for these attempted murder charges, no doubt. All right, no doubt going to tarnish his legacy even further. But the shooting itself, okay, it actually stems from a fight that he was basically involved in outside of Aiden Ross's celebrity boxing match in Miami, of all places. Now, I'm not going to lie, I rock with Aiden Ross. I've never met him or spoken to him, but I actually really admire what he's achieved. I would love to get down and go to one of his boxing events. Someone was telling me I should fight in a celebrity boxing event the other day. Let me know in the comments who I should fight, because I'm not scared of a fade, right? I would actually get out there and have a fade if I had to. But basically, these video recordings from that night, okay, these actually, this is crazy. This is the Antonio Brown shooting incident, all angles synchronized. And this basically is going to show the chaos when the shooting actually went down and all these people kind of caught different angles of it. And I'm going to elaborate on exactly what went down in a minute, but let's just take a look at this because this will give you a little bit of background of how much chaos was going on at the alleged hands of Antonio Brown. He way too happy, man.
Oh my God, I have to go. I have to go. No, shots is crazy.
Now, I believe there's actually more to this. Let me just let me back up a little bit because that was when the shooting happened, but I believe there's other angles that actually captured kind of a bit more of the fracas, as you might say. So you can hear people saying they're fighting. We can't see the fight that's going on. Now, there was reports that there was basically a fight that was going on, okay? And that I believe the initial claim was that he was kind of firing a shot to defend himself, but then people were later saying that it was attempted murder and he was the aggressor. So let's just see a little bit more of this from different angles.
Whoa.
So the fight's going on over here. It's looking like a punch is thrown. Okay, I can't tell exactly who that is throwing the punch, but we might be able to get a little bit closer look in a minute. Let's see.
Oh shit, they're fighting. Oh shit. Watch out. Hey, watch out. Shit. Back up, pal. Shit. Go, back up. Oh shit. Hey, for the band me.
So there's this big brawl going on, right? And we see a little bit of it, and then things kind of back up, and then we don't see sort of what happens. We don't see who started it. We don't know who started it. It seems like it breaks up for a second, and then we're going to see shots. Now, if Antonio Brown was attacked and he shot in self-defense, then that's fair self-defense. But if he was jumped and then he came back around after everything calmed down and fired a shot at somebody, that is going to be attempted murder, unfortunately. Wait a minute. That bottom left. Okay, keep an eye on that bottom left. I'm pretty sure that's him there. And he ends up walking past one of the people on camera. It looks like he's kind of reaching for something, if you ask me. Right, let's see that again. He angry. He's being followed by somebody. It looks like he's either reaching into his pocket or something like that. So he's barging past this woman. She doesn't realize how serious this situation is. And you just heard somebody say, oh my God, he has a gun. Yeah, that's crazy. So people in the comments, they're saying AB is getting charged for this one. The crowd was split up already and no threat was present when the shots rang out. He's effed. They're saying AB needs to be separated from society. I'm sick of everyone making excuses for him. The guy is bad news. All them gun sounds and gestures they made in the beginning when the shots went off, they ran. Yeah, this is actually crazy. So just a day after this incident went down, AB actually took to Twitter and he would allege that he'd been jumped by people that were actually attempting to rob him. And that's potentially not untrue. He said, regarding the boxing event that happened last night, I was jumped by multiple individuals who tried to steal my jewelry and cause physical harm to me. Contrary to some videos circulating, police temporarily detained me until they received my side of the story and then released me. I went home that night and I was not arrested. I will be talking to my legal counsel and attorneys on pressing charges on the individuals that jumped me. I'll keep you posted on the step-by-step process, or step-by-step on the process. Thank you for the support and love, AB84. So, you know, he was giving his opinion, all right? And basically, you know, people are trying to work it out. People are saying AB jumped, you know, he's protecting himself, all of that stuff. Antonio Brown would then appear on Aiden Ross's live stream, and here he would actually joke that it was his CTE. If you don't know, CTE is kind of a, you know, head injury that kind of messes up your brain and your mental capacity. A lot of people get it from taking big hits on the football field. Boxers get it when they get punched in the head too many times. And he would apparently joke with Aiden Ross that his CTE made him black out before admitting that he slammed a friendly security guard by accident during the chaos. So let's see what he said.
Yeah, I got CTE. I blacked out. I ain't know what happened. Blacked out, dude. I blacked out, Aiden.
I know you did.
I ain't know what happened.
I know.
Your eyes, man.
He came out.
Bring it up, bro. That was your. Hey, it was his security guard. But he.
One of them niggas, I don't know, but they was jumping and helping.
So, but he was trying to help.
No, because they thought you was getting jumped, so he tried to like pull y'all apart.
I slammed that nigga again.
And you kicked him in his shit.
Yeah.
He was like, "What the fuck?" I was trying to help.
I was like, oh.
He would run through anybody when you used to play. Shit, I'm just saying, bro. Security not gonna hold AB back, bro.
Kicked him in his shit.
He's a unit.
I didn't know who it was. It was a lot of niggas.
A lot of shit going on, bro.
W vent, man. W vent.
I thought I should know where the cheeks at.
We going to the eye.
So they're saying W event where the cheeks at, man. But really, this is actually very serious. Now, you know, he said he accidentally kicked security who was actually trying to help him by accident. He blamed the CTE. Now, I don't know if the courtroom are going to be feeling you blaming the CTE, but hey, that is what it is. Now, TMZ would actually claim that they tracked down the man that AB fought with, who would call AB a liar and say that there was absolutely no robbery. And go on to say that, you know, the fist fight, what was basically a friendly fade or an honest fist fight, scuffle, maybe there was some confusion, eventually turned into AB grabbing a gun, shooting at him, and the two would eventually... So apparently one of the reasons these two have actually had a long-running feud, and let's just like rewind back a little bit and hear a little bit about this, because he's saying that he had a judgment against AB from years ago, and that really when they ran into each other, AB stole off on him, and he'd kind of rubbed it in his face, and basically, you know... let him know, like, you owe me some money, and AB. So he's saying that they was actually doing business together and he'd saved him from being in trouble with the police in Dubai. Now, it's ironic that Dubai keeps coming up in this because Dubai is where he ended up, where he ended up getting caught up, where he was on the run, right? And that's very ironic, okay? So almost a month after this whole incident went down, what ends up happening, right, is the police issue an attempted murder arrest warrant for AB, and they accuse him from actually grabbing the gun from security before firing these shots. So let's see this.
According to the warrant, the man Brown was allegedly after was Zul Kwarneen Kwame Nantambu, who Brown initially fought one-on-one before two people jumped in to attack the alleged victim. Police say several security staff members intervened to break up the brawl, and Brown is seen on video grabbing one of the security guards' guns and then chasing after the alleged victim with it. In the warrant, the alleged victim says he got into a verbal altercation with Mr. Brown, which escalated when Mr. Brown punched him in the face. He further stated that as he attempted to defend himself, several additional people began to strike him until security separated all parties.
So it seems, right, that a warrant was basically issued for attempted murder, but AB would be nowhere to be found, all right? There would be nowhere to be, they couldn't find him, they didn't know where he was, and eventually, come to find out, he is over in Dubai, or the United Arab Emirates, right? And so what happens here? We see these clips. They're saying Antonio Brown is wanted by Miami authorities, but he's riding bikes in the Middle East, having a great time out there, all right? He's over there. He's having a good time. He's posted on social media. He's tweeting. He might have been smart to not even post this because it might have been these posts that got him jammed up. He could have stayed low, kept a lower profile. But people are saying, and he really was rubbing it in their faces. He tweeted this: "I'm out the country. Ain't no more child support. Tell your mama, get a job." Now, people are commenting, bro wanted for attempted murder and fled the country. Okay, that really isn't a good one. They're saying, this is a funny tweet, but you got issues, man. In the comments, they're cooking him, right? They're saying, AB on the run before GTA 6. There is something wrong with this man. And this is very serious. He's probably not realizing how serious these charges are, okay? It is really, really a bad look. And later on that same month, on June the 28th, he would actually end up calling out the alleged victim and basically labeling him as a clout chaser.
Were you actually hit by any of the shots?
He would post this TMZ video and he'd say, "This guy's story keeps on changing. Clown emoji. Been on TMZ twice for clout to talk about AB. Guy trespassed in the event too and walked right up to me to threaten my life. If media won't report the truth, CTE SPN will." And CTE SPN is a thing that AB always uses. He's got CTE, but he's running like ESPN. I do think that is really funny, but there's not really anything too funny about this stuff that's actually going on around here, right? And let's see this clip that he was so triggered by.
On to the hospital. Were you actually hit by any of the shots that were fired?
Allah is merciful. Allah is merciful. I could have been grazed here, but I don't know. I don't want to take against God's mercy upon me, sparing me, because I believe the angels protected me. But I do have burns upon my neck, and all that. But it did not enter my body and come out my body. It was not. So I thank God for that. I walked in, and then I saw him 1 minute in, and it was up. He stole it. He swung. He tried to swing on me, scratch my neck. You know what I'm saying? And then it just turned into a brawl from when got a gun, shot wildfire. We fight. He shot at me twice. Praise be to Allah, I wasn't hit. They got children out there selling candy.
On to the
So he's posted this. He's saying that the story changed, all right? And that really doesn't change the facts, unfortunately. And, he called him out basically for being a clout chaser. But a few months went by, okay, and after all these social media clips and clues were going around, him riding his bike in the desert and all this stuff, okay, the police would eventually track him down and they would arrest him in Dubai.
We had this, our crime. But yeah, so we all know what occurred in May 17th of 2025, where there was a fight after a boxing match, and it led to a shooting. Well, our video retrieval specialists got together, they got video of the incident, and they were able to positively identify Antonio Brown as the shooter. Once we had this, our crime gun intelligence unit, along with our felony apprehension team, working with U.S. Marshals, working with Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, got together, built an arrest warrant, and located that he was at Dubai. We knew this because of his videos. He was posting videos, riding a bike, kind of like laughing at the city of Miami, saying, hey, I'm in Dubai. Maybe he thought that we couldn't extradite from there. But we worked along with Dubai police, and he was taken into custody. And sometime later, U.S. Marshals were contacted. They went to Dubai, and they brought him back to Essex County, where he was brought today and waiting to be extradited here to Miami-Dade County. And we're
right, it's the CTE kicking, man. The CTE really kicking. I feel like this just needs to be a lesson to everybody, right? It's very cowardly to commit a crime and not face it, not face up to it and just flee the country, and just think you're going to get away with it. One, you're probably not going to get away with it. Like, the authorities are smart. Just generally, for everybody that thinks they're super smart kingpin, master criminal, right? You're really lucky to be getting away with these crimes. And that's not me saying, I love the police, I'm a snitch, I love bro, the cops are smart. They got more resources than you, bro. They got unlimited resources. They got government budgets. Like, they can put a surveillance team together. They can hire people to sit there. People say, I'm the feds. I'm one guy with like one assistant helping me look into, rap stories that I find interesting. If they want to track you down, it ain't a case of, they can just put a whole team on you. They can just put 20 people trying to track you down, follow all your posts, dig into your IP, all of this stuff, bro. So all of this fleeing the country and fleeing justice, it don't work, right? You'd have been better off just facing the music at home, hopefully getting bail. And this is all going to be even worse look for AB. Like, you fled the country, you was rubbing it in people's faces, you was tweeting about it. This is going to be a bad look when it actually comes to it and you're in front of a judge. So AB has now actually made his first court appearance for his bond hearing, where his lawyer basically argued that AB, he always intended to turn himself in. The police just picked him up before he had a chance. But the fact you're in another country probably ain't really working in your favor.
At all. And then in June, a warrant was issued. He hired an attorney. He had a falling out with that attorney. He ultimately hired me to arrange a surrender. And prior to that surrendering occurring, he was picked up by law enforcement. He always had the desire and intention to answer to these charges. I filed a permanent appearance in this case. This is a bondable offense, and I'd like to be heard on ties and reasons why a reasonable bond is appropriate.
So he's basically arguing, look, he was always going to turn himself in. Don't worry about those tweets. Don't worry about anything else that was going on. He was planning to turn himself in. And look, we can take that at face value, all right? I want AB to have a fair situation. They're saying that he's going to be getting a $25,000 bond. Maybe it's not as serious. I mean, attempted murder sounds like a really serious charge, but a lot of people get bond on that charge, right? The lawyer would actually go on to make a few interesting points that kind of contradict maybe some of the public story that had been circulating. They basically said the gun was actually AB's very own concealed firearm that he was allowed to use, and he was using it in self-defense.
My client left the scene to get to his car, and he feared correctly that the victim would be waiting for him. My client took his gun, not a security person's gun, by the way. The state alleges that there was a security officer who he took his gun. It was my client's own concealed weapons permit that he has, where he retrieved his own gun. He pulled it out because he thought he would encounter this man, and he did. And that man, again, showed acts of violence. My client shot twice, not at him, but shot twice so that he can continue on to get to his vehicle. That will all be argued when we have an appropriate time. But this is a defendable case, Judge, and it's bondable.
Thank you.
I'm not going to lie, when they put it like that, it starts to sound a little bit more like it's going to work out in AB's favor, okay? They're saying it was his own gun, it wasn't a security guard's gun. If they can prove that, that definitely works in his favor. And then if he can prove that he was confronted by the other person rather than he stalked and chased them down and tried to shoot them and attempted to murder them, that's going to work in his favor. Now, it all depends whether there's more footage that we haven't seen that is basically going to help him, relay that narrative that his lawyer is putting across. Now, he did end up, I believe, getting a $25,000 bond and apparently like very extremely lenient house arrest terms while he is waiting the full trial in this case.
Motion for pretrial detention pending final hearing. Instead of bonds, it will be $25,000. I'm also going to do less house. I don't even know why he needs house arrest, but I understand the state's concern. He's going to.
So don't do it then, Judge.
Pardon me?
So don't put it. I just offered that as an alternative to, but I don't think he needs house arrest. I'd like him to be able to still continue to earn a living and support his family and be able to liberally come to my office.
So I'm going to enter house arrest level 3. So he can work. I'm not going to give him a curfew. At least he'll have the electronic monitor on, so he's not a flight risk. He'll know his whereabouts. Don't cut off the monitor because then he'll face additional charges. And the division judge can always readdress the house arrest component.
That's fine, Judge. Thank you.
You have a good lawyer. Listen to what he tells you. Most importantly, stay locally in Miami. If you want to travel, you're going to have to seek permission from the court. Your attorney, Mr. Eiglarsh, can explain everything to you.
Judge,
Thank you, Mr.
On behalf of Mr. Brown and his family, grateful. Thank you very much.
Good day.
So that is actually a pretty reasonable outcome for him, right? He's got no curfew. He is on ankle monitor, but he can basically move around, and he's on house arrest, but he can move around for work, and he can basically, do what he likes to do. Now, this does look pretty serious, but if he can prove with the things that he said, if he can prove that the events played out in the way that he said they did, he's going to be in good stead. But at the same time, If this guy that he's been feuding with for years can prove that, no, AB, he came running after me. All right, we had a little scuffle. He lunged at me first. He started the altercation. Then he grabbed a gun. Then he came running after me and tried to kill me. That's going to be a bad look. And no doubt that he's going to be suing him in civil court too. And he's going to be trying to get another bag from AB. All right. And I don't know. They say in one of the top wide receivers of all time, I would think AB's got the bag, but maybe not. Okay. So look, I'll keep you guys updated if anything else happens with this case. I thought this was an interesting one to follow on from. Stay locked in with the other content that I'm uploading, man. I did the Blueface update yesterday. I know everybody really enjoyed that. I'll keep it real. I did a full, nearly hour-long breakdown on the D-Dog situation. D-Dog from NBA. I thought people would be rocking with that video a bit more than they did. And I did actually think it was very important to put that video out there because I feel like I was very honest about the D-Dog case. For everybody that's been on my case about the Lil Durk case, oh, you're one-sided, you're a young boy glazer. I covered the D-Dog situation in the exact same way that I would cover the Durk situation, all of the other OTF members. So go and check that video out. I thought it was quite a good breakdown. It was the most in-depth breakdown I've seen on YouTube. And we really dug into a lot of the evidence that D-Dog is putting forward. We also dug into a lot of his backstory and a lot of things that kind of make that story interesting. So go and check that video out if you haven't. I really appreciate you guys watching, but staying locked in. And trust me, I'm loading something really, I'm so, like the next couple, bruh. I'm so excited, like, for the next few months. Trust me, there's going to be some sick things coming to all of these channels. I'm very excited. I appreciate all of you for locking in, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Trap more gang, trap disciples. Boot up.